let's calibrate this for a little bit. The situation is I'm in a new environment. I am not practiced at it enough to have gotten any feedback from anybody else about the closing of the sales. So I have chosen to expect negatively about that. Isn't that pretty much what you all just heard? So I've chosen to expect negatively, and as a result, I feel discouraged and worried, and we're really not making fun of you at all.
I know.
Because this is what the current situation is. So now we're asking you to set the current situation aside and ask yourself, or make the statement, however, in the larger scheme of things, meaning my life, I am more optimistic or pessimistic?
Optimistic.
And yet this conversation does not portray that accurately. So everything that we've just discussed here is an anomaly from who you really are. That's a good thing to acknowledge, isn't it? Because who you really are will carry you. We want to talk to all of you about this. Is it the newness and the unknown of the experience that has you negatively expecting? Probably, but what's up with that? Do you have to have a positive experience before you expect a positive experience? Well, that's jacked up if you do, because that slows you way down. That would be like needing to be in your physical body and excelling at it before you be born. Don't want to take any chances. Get my whole life all planned out. Get all of my awards all lined out. When I'm born, I want all the awards on the mantle. I want everybody to know what my life's going to be like before I get there. Otherwise, I'm not going. Well, it's not like that, nor would you want it to be like that, because new is fun. New is dynamic. New is stimulating. New calls things from you. New is evolution. New is evolving. New is becoming. New is life. And so on this other side of the page, am I eager about this or am I discouraged about this? Now we're doing something we haven't done with other calibrations. We've taken this subject over to this side of the page. But the reason that it's easy to do is because in this case, it's really easy to do. You don't have a lot of pent up, pushing against relative to this. You just, for whatever reason, are choosing. It feels almost like deliberately choosing to be negative about this. You want attention?
What do you mean?
We mean, do you want to make it look like you don't expect to excel so that you'll surprise everybody when you do?
No, I don't.
Are you trying to tamp down expectations so that no matter what happens, it looks pretty good? Because you do that. You all sort of kind of do that. It's like, don't expect too much of me. I don't want to disappoint you. There's a sort of thing that, anybody registering with that a little bit? Don't expect too much, and that way you won't be disappointed. Oh, your inner being is expecting everything that you put into your vortex. So a little bit of practice of tamping things down really feels off. And that's what feels so off about this conversation. None of it makes sense. None of the things you said about not expecting success make any sense to us, because you're good at what you do. You've always been good at what you do. You like what you do. You're excited about this. You're already good at getting leads. You want to tell a different story now?
Well, wait. I just want to, okay, so yesterday morning.
I just want to argue for my limitations a little bit.
No, I just want some help with a part of it that I think will help me understand this in addition to that. So I tried, I was playing with the table. So I wrote down, what.
You were doing what?
The table exercise where I write down what.
Oh, the placemat process?
Yes.
Where I thought you were table tapping or something. Spirits from beyond.
And so I wrote down what I think I need to do, and then what I need to.
What I intend to do.
What I intend to do.
What I'm going to do, either because I need to or I want to. What I'm going to do. So what did you write there?
Okay, so my big stressor right now is I have a ton of.
Wait, we just asked you a really simple question. What did you write there?
Okay. I wrote that I really need to focus on elevating my point of attraction.
This placemat process is really about things that I feel like I will take action on.
Okay.
And so I will take action on elevating my point of attraction. We get that. But this placemat process is what I'm going to do today about this, what I'm going to do about this, and then what I'd like the universe to take care of today. So what did you put on your list? Or is this not the time that you're doing anything about that?
Well, yes, because I'm on vacation, so I'm trying to separate myself while I'm having this stress. But so I put that I need to follow up with people who I'm inspired to follow up with.
Today?
Well, I did actually right after because I felt inspired to.
So that was something that you intended to do on that day. And what else?
Oh, God. And just kind of try to take my mind off of it while I have this negative point of attraction.
Well, so the utilization of this process under these conditions is nothing about what the process is. This is what I'm going to do today. Nothing.
That's how I was trying. Yeah,
because it's not the right time for me to do this. Not the right time for me to do this. So maybe under those conditions, you could write, nothing for me to do today. Meanwhile, universe is all over what? What do you want the universe to line up for you? This is a good conversation to have about the placemat process. Maybe there's nothing for me to do right now. Why? Because I don't feel like doing anything right now. And I don't have time to do anything right now. And I'm not in a position where I can do anything right now. So maybe there are a lot of situations where there is nothing for you to do right now. And yet your mind won't let it go. So what you are doing is shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again rather than acknowledging nothing to do on this. I've already done it. What do you mean, Abraham? You did step one. You already did the asking. Source already did step two, and now there's nothing for you to take action on except wisely, as you said. You want to release resistance, and in this situation, you're going to release resistance by setting the universe loose on your behalf. So what did you write on the universe's side of the placemat?
Attract customers who will be a good match for my company and for me personally.
Line those things up for me, yeah. What else?
I didn't bring my notes up, but...
So what are your questions now?
Sorry?
So now what are your questions relative to the placemat process?
Well, I think that I'm like addicted to writing too many tasks and to
We don't think so. You put nothing.
Yeah, well, I was just at my table. But
you're all wadded up in this. In other words, you're all wadded up in this. There's no clarity at all coming forth from you. And the reason
I know that
we're not making it easy, we're all over you. The reason that we are wanting this amplification is because this is a really human trait. In other words, it's not the right time to do it, but I'm going to worry about it anyway. There's nothing I can do about this right now, but I'm still going to block my well-being by stewing over something that isn't active. Or I'm going to try to prod myself into some sort of action when there's no momentum that's calling me. You are not representing no one here. You're representing almost everyone here. We could label it a few things: lack of focus. We could also call it, and this is the most important thing to acknowledge that it is, it's believing more in my action and in my determination and in my doing than in allowing the gestation, allowing the universe to gather the components. In other words, I've decided to worry rather than trust. Never mind what I've decided to do or whether I've decided to ask the universe to do. This is an example of I've decided to worry rather than to trust. I've decided to stew rather than to just relax. And I've decided to writhe around in thoughts rather than detach and give myself some relief. And all of this is the beginning of deliberate creation. But it's a far cry from how it feels to you when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're inspired to act when it's time to act. And if you're not feeling the inspiration to act, then there's nothing to do. That's really the place that we would like you all to be. We would like you to be in this place where you're not just out of responsibility or out of being prodded by someone else, going through the motions. Esther calls it just looking busy or going through the motions. Going through the motions with no real productivity because you're not hooked into the energy of the universe that is the ultimate productivity. You could call it lip service or affecting the way you appear for the response of other people. Well, get over all of that. Don't pretend anything. and don't do anything unless you really feel like doing it. In the beginning, that leaves a whole lot of people that are accustomed to measuring your value by how much you sacrifice and how much energy and how many trips around the room you make. In other words, gotta look busy, gotta look busy, gotta look busy, gotta look busy, gotta be productive, gotta sacrifice. Well, all of that gets you nowhere. And yet hardly anybody says, I think I'll just chill till I get an idea, because that doesn't go over well with your employer. What are you doing? Chilling. Well, don't chill, do something. Well, I don't feel inspired really to do anything. Well, do something anyway, is what much of the world who believes in action is encouraging you to do. But we're encouraging you to wait for inspiration and then get the big payoff, which is the thrill of what it feels like when you move with the flow of these universal forces. Does that make some sense to you?
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of stuck between two worlds. You've got one foot in one world and one foot in the other world, and you haven't decided what world you're playing to. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be playing to the resources of the universe. We'd be waiting for the inspiration that is really in sync with who you are. And we would not be trying to elicit response from other humans who have no clue what's in your vortex, no clue when you're moving toward it, no clue about anything. It's just between you and your inner being, really. So, having said that and having heard that, what statement would you like to make about this new job? Later, Gator.
I'm going to continue to allow and trust the process of attracting the right
And when the timing is
customers.
right. When the timing is right. And what is the best way to acknowledge what that phrase means? When the timing is right. What do you think that we mean when we say, when the timing is right? When nothing can keep me from this impulse. That's when the timing is right. The timing is right when I got to do this and I want to do it right now. I want to do this right now. That's when the timing is right. When you just feel it so strong that the urge is really, really strong. When you're being called or inspired, not when you're trying to motivate yourself to do something that you really don't feel like doing. Really good conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good. Really good conversation.